He who finds a wife finds a good thing and obtains favor from the Lord. As Christian guys, we all want a wife. But unfortunately, nowadays, I see a lot of guys that have a hard time with women, let alone finding a wife. So I'm gonna give you 10 tips today on how to help with that. And we're also gonna check out Slosh Benrat while we're here. Slosh is just their word for like castle. I don't know much about it, but let's go see.
Yeah, I like this. Light child. Look, everybody wanna shine, but nobody be in the light.
Ooh, I am loving me some Brino right now. Obviously, we're here, we made it. And I'm gonna be real, boys. I thought this would be a lot better. Some nice ducks though. I was gonna look at some stuff about this castle and learn a little bit about it, but kind of forgot. All I know is made in the early 1700s for some king and queen. Yeah, I think it needs a new paint job. It's looking a little faded, a little depressing out here. But that's all right because we are not here for the castle. We're here to talk about how to find a good wife. Like, to be real, a lot of guys are like, they're wanting this Proverbs 31 woman, but they're not being like this man that the Proverbs 31 woman would want. They're not building themselves spiritually, mentally, physically, working on their skills. What's interesting thing going on in your life that you want on COD or you're watching the game on Sunday, you gotta reevaluate. So first, obviously, you gotta up yourself spiritually. And dude, this is literally just spending time with God, whether that's prayer, reading the Bible, going to church, and spending time with other believers. I use this example. If you're into fitness, you're a bodybuilder, you're probably not gonna want a woman who sits on the couch all day eating potato chips, if you know what I'm saying. So why would you expect a woman who's trying to follow Jesus with all of her heart to settle for a man who only sets time aside for God on Sundays? It's not happening, man. And of course, the next thing is you gotta be upping yourself physically. This doesn't mean you have to be a super huge bodybuilder or be going to the gym, but honestly, your body and what you use it for reflects a lot on who you are and what you do. And most women, contrary to dad bod propaganda, they want a strong man, whether that's someone who runs, doesn't have to be insanely strong, but they just want to see some action, some movement. Then boys, you gotta be up in your skills. You don't have to be the best of the best in whatever you're doing, but you gotta be doing something, man. Like I said earlier, chicks don't want a guy who just sits around and plays video games all day. I mean, I guess if you're super good at it and you're getting paid for it, that's another story. But for most of us, we aren't Dream or any of those other guys. So have something in your life that you're passionate about, that you're trying to get better at. Women just mainly wanna see that you're not gonna be some lazy slob that has no purpose in life. They want driven dudes, so be a driven guy. And on top of this, you gotta be making some money if you're out of school. I mean, I understand, like, if you're in school, it's super hard to. A lot of your time is taken up. But girls don't want a broke boy usually. There's some amazing girls that will see potential in you, even if you aren't doing so great financially. But you have to take action with that or else they'll leave you. And there's a lot of talk nowadays about waiting for your spouse, and that is for the women, guys. As men, unless God specifically told you to wait, we're meant to be out on the hunt to find a wife. So you need to be out there talking to women. And I know that's scary, but we're gonna talk about the two separate scenarios that we usually find women in. And that is instantaneous and community. Oh man, I'll tell you what, Germans are the kings of graffiti. If there is something standing, they have put some paint on it. Look at this thing. But instantaneous, these are the elusive bunch. This is the hot woman that you see in the line at the coffee shop, grabbing her latte to go, the hot brunette out at the park. These are women that usually, this is your one shot, one opportunity to seize the moment. Yo, you get the point. This is your one opportunity. And to be real, guys, she might not be a believer. She's probably gonna say no. So just don't overthink it. Go for it. I'll make a video on how to talk to girls in the future. No, I've been filming and I'm sorry, guys. Wow. Okay, this is terrible. We're on 480p. Pain. This hurts my soul. But anyways, we'll make a video on how to talk to girls if you want to. But the main thing is get out there, just try. And if she ends up being cool, if she ends up being a believer, you're golden. Worst case scenario, she says no, and you're just like where you were before, with a little more humility, but that's all right. We all need that sometimes. The next type of women that you're going to normally encounter are the community ones. These are the women that you see out and about. Maybe they go to your church, your school, at your gym, at your work, or at a coffee shop you go to a lot. You see them there hanging all the time. These are those community women. And they're oftentimes the best ones because you can sit back and see what they're like. Are they the values that you're looking for in a wife? Are they following Jesus? There's been so many women that I see in those kind of scenarios where I'm like, man, she looks fine. But after seeing her personality, seeing how she lives her life, maybe she's talking down the waiter, maybe she's a little crazy, maybe she's too flirty with all the guys, whatever it is, community women are really good to sit back and evaluate before you even try to jump in. The only downside is that a lot of times if they're in our friend circle or places we frequent, we're a little bit afraid to jump into it. And the best advice I can give about that is to just do it in a super chill way. Not like, oh my word, I've loved you for so long, please be my girlfriend. But just be chill and be like, I just want to let you know that I've thought you were super beautiful for a long time and I want to get to know you more. Something like that. We can go over it in another video as well, but hopefully that'll get you started. And boys, I'm gonna show you something that the Germans love. I do not understand this. They love just straight, uninteresting walking paths. I don't get it. This literally goes to where like people are like this big. I literally do not understand this at all. It actually might be a mile. Like you can't add like a curve in there or anything. Like, oh, never mind. They got super creative and made a roundabout. That's nice. People are still this big. 15 minutes later, finally did it, and we made it to the end. Should have been like that guy, taking a bike. Somebody stole my seat though, so I gotta get a new one. And the tire came unseated, so there's all sorts of problems with this thing, but it's probably a good idea for times like this. There's supposed to be a river view over here. I flew all that way for a muddy river view, but that gives us an opportunity to talk about. How long has that been like that? We interrupt this program to bring you a desk portion because the mic was unplugged. We'd love it. And once we secure a date, it's time to kiss. No, bro, not kiss. K-I-S-S. Keep it simple, stupid. If there's any homeschoolers watching, I'm sorry that I discussed, but it's true. You gotta keep it simple, guys. You want the whole date to be about that person and really getting to know them on a deeper level. You don't want to go to a place where you guys are going to get like wowed by the experience, whether that's an amazing meal at a 5-star restaurant or going skydiving as an insane example. For one, you don't want her to be like, wow, I had such a great time because of the things we did. You wanna make her have a great time because of what you guys did and getting to know her, and you want your personalities to mesh, because what happens if the money's gone, right? Is she gonna stick with you with that? If a girl will only go out with you if you take her to a certain restaurant, like just skip that over, bro, because if you run out of money, you will run out of love. And that is not what a good, healthy relationship is all about. We should all have standards though, like don't take her to like McDonald's. So go to a park, go someplace that's like public yet private enough for you to have good conversations. My wife and I, on our first date, we went to a sandwich shop. It was good quality food, wasn't too expensive, and it was quiet enough that we were able to have conversations freely and openly. KYSS, keep it simple, stupid. Don't kiss yet. Ooh. And we finally made it. Sorry about that voiceover portion. Look at this. This is probably one of the more picturesque points of here. I mean, it's all very picturesque except for the straight lanes of nothingness. But we are not here to talk about that. We're here to talk about why the first few dates are so critical and why you need to watch out. You see, you don't want to waste your time or her time. So during these first 1 to 3 dates, your best job to simply get to know her. Get into the deeper subjects. Find out what she believes about God. Figure out where she's at politically. Figure out, does she want to even have kids? Do you want to have kids? You don't have to be exactly in line doing the same career or whatever, but you want to be morally in line with the person that you're dating. And of course, if she's not a Christian, you got to jump out of that. Just anything that's important to you, and honestly, you should have this kind of written out or in your head beforehand, but anything that's important to you and you think is valuable for a wife, someone that you're partnered with for the rest of your life, it's the time where you need to really kind of conduct an interview. I hate to sound businessy, but it's kind of what it is. It's an interview for your life partner. Sorry, no food, brother. I'll see you later. Yeah, I know. It's a sad thing. Bis später. Bro, why are swans so hostile? And of course, if you've known this woman for a while, she's one of those community people that you really know a lot about her. Now's just the time to get to know her on a deeper level. Maybe you already know she aligns with you morally and on whatever else, but spend the time, get to know each other. Don't go to a movie. Check out this guy. He's got a pet pig. Ooh, this is nice. Actually, not really. It looks like a rundown Barbie castle, but it's getting dark. My batteries are getting really low, so we're gonna go back to the house and finish up with soulmates and one other thing. Maybe 2. We're going back to the house. Oh yeah, I almost forgot. This is like supposed to be one of the best Christmas markets here. They're not open yet, but yeah, I'll have to come back and check it out. It's kind of small to compare to other ones I've seen, but maybe it's the quality and the location over quantity. Back at last, it's dark, it's nighttime, and it's time to talk about soulmates. I think it's a big thing in the both secular and Christian world. And I would honestly say, from my personal experience, looking at everything through the goggles of, is this person my soulmate, really clouds your eyes and it makes you hold on to things longer than you should and hold off on other things longer than you should as well. Focus should be on praying and asking God, hey, is this a good woman for me? And then as you're courting her and dating her, to look and be like, okay, is she exhibiting these qualities that, first of all, are godly qualities, and second of all, qualities that you want, right? From my experience, I've had a woman who I was head over heels for pretty much the instant I saw her. And I was like, oh my word, this woman is amazing. This is my soulmate. And it didn't work out. And I hung on to that woman for way too long than I should have. Versus, I met my now wife and I was extremely prayerful during the entire process of getting to know her. And I just had confirmation over confirmation over confirmation. This is going to be my wife. Just be wary of labeling people as soulmates. When it comes down to it, they're not soulmates until you're married. And as we're dating, guys, KYPP. Keep your penis in your pants. It's something my roommate told me all the time when I was dating my now wife, and it's good advice. Also not to do other things as well. As Christians, we're set apart, and there's a lot of questions, especially when you're a bit younger, of like what's allowed and what's not. And I would honestly say, if you wouldn't do it in front of your grandma, don't do it with your girlfriend. And guys, do everything in your power to not be alone with her, no matter what age you are, no matter where you are in your walk with God. If you feel like you and God are like tight, inseparable, don't do it. It is the one temptation that we're told to just run away from. And it doesn't stop, dude. You can be 55 years old, 60, and you're still gonna have these temptations and urges. And why that is so important for guys. First off, having sex before marriage clouds your senses. This is something God made just between a husband and a wife. And it's made to bond them closer together. So whenever you have anything close to sex before marriage, you're essentially bonding with this person that you're not married to, and it will cloud your eyes. Personally, with a girlfriend that I had, we were honestly doing it. And there's things about her that if we weren't doing it, I would have seen, oh man, this woman would not be a good mother. She would not be a good wife. But because we were in that, I didn't see it at all. And it wasn't until we took a month off from any relations like that, that my eyes were finally open enough to be able to see like, that's not good, that's not good. And then also if you break up, it's just gonna be a lot more painful, guys. Even if she's the one that you're like, oh, I'm gonna marry her. Like, if we're doing dating the right way and it's not to date around, anytime we are dating someone, usually it's because we see potential in them for being a future spouse. So don't let yourself get talked into that with your head. Have some accountability. I really wish I did, and all my relationships would have been a lot better, but we're here today. Figure out your boundaries and stick to them. KYPP, guys. And in the same vein of noticing the bad things, I think it's really good to have a mental mindset of not being afraid to end it. This will allow you to have a little more of your self-respect in the relationship. You never want to be the guy who is just fighting for it the entire time. Obviously, fight for your relationship. But if it's looking like, oh man, she's wanting to dip out, or I'm starting to notice all these things, or I'm not getting treated the way I want to get treated, having this mindset will allow you to address it a lot easier, because you're not like, oh man, what if I say this and then like she doesn't want to be with me and then she leaves me? Just keep yourself in a mindset of having self-respect. Definitely love and fight, but also self-respect for yourself, because this is the person that you'll have to live with for the entirety of your life if you get together in a godly fashion and stay together in a godly fashion. So we need to be very wise and observant and address issues as they come up. And as a man of God, we should be like Jesus. And what was Jesus? He was assertive, but he was also very kind. And Jesus also, even through our many faults, always fights for us. So I guess that's kind of what I'm trying to say. Be like Jesus in your relationship, but don't hold on too long. Don't tolerate very bad behavior. I'll put it this way. Anything that's happening before the relationship is going to be 10 times bigger after you're married. If she's nagging you now, she's going to be nagging you then. Okay? So hopefully that was clear for you. just like these last few tips are gonna be, which are to give it time. Don't be that Christian couple that goes off to college and gets married in like 2 months. Unless you're like really hearing from God on it, whether you've known her a long time or you haven't, spend time with God and really push in and figure out like, okay, is this the right woman? With girlfriends in the past, it was like, I'm rushing in. This is the woman. Let's go. It crashed and burned. Whereas with Rebecca, I spent prayerful time. I was really like seeking God on it and be like, look, God, I really need your eyes on this. It was literally months of confirmation. And even after that, there was even more confirmation. And I might get into that in a future video, but don't be the classic Christian couples going to college. And as always, we want to open and close with God. So what better way to close than with Proverbs 31, quote, "Who can find a virtuous wife? For her worth is far above rubies. The heart of her husband safely trusts her, so he will have no lack of gain." Gentlemen, go in Christ and become uncompromised.
Wifey way out my league. We like Beauty and the Beast. Hold on, wait. Let me talk about the